Hi guys, Alex Hall from Solar Techs here, and I'm with Milo Brown, the UK account manager for Enphase. Please tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Enphase, and then we'll tell the guys why they should be considering Enphase if they're adding this infrastructure to their home.
Thanks, Alex. My name is Milo Brown. I am one of the UK account managers here at Enphase. Tell you a little bit about Enphase. We're not a new company. We've been for the solar industry since 2006, so almost 20 years. 20 years is a pretty long time in the solar industry, so a vast wealth of experience within solar. One of the unique selling points of Enphase is we are a US manufacturer, so our head office is still over in Silicon Valley in California. We've got production factories globally. We've got US factories now, we've got Mexican factories, we've got factories in Asia, and we've recently opened our European factory in Romania. So all microinverters for the UK and EU are made in Romania. We've seen each other for the last 6 months or so, a couple of events, one that we hosted ourselves at the Manchester Etihad Stadium, and I've seen you recently at Intersolar in Munich, but I still don't really know what Solar Techs do, who you are, and tell me a little about your company and exactly what you guys are trying to achieve in the UK solar market.
Thanks, Milo. So in a nutshell, Solar Techs, solar-techs is what it says on the tin. It's a lot of techies. We like discussing all things battery storage, solar PV, anything renewable really is encompassed under the brand. I've built a strong team of techie brains, great design team, great install team, and that's exactly what we are. We're the best in our area, in our field, but it's an ever-changing market, so we're constantly learning, constantly doing continuous professional development and doing all the online academy stuff such as the Enphase program we've done recently. And that's what we are. We're just a load of solar techies. Through this YouTube channel, we're trying to get in front of the best brands in the market because it is confusing for the customer. Do you go with a microinverter? Do you go with a hybrid inverter? Do you go with a DC coupled battery system? Do you go with an AC coupled battery system? There's a lot of great technology out there, as we witnessed at Intersolar. And here today, you are to stake a claim from why Enphase is different to the rest of the products at Intersolar. Okay, so the projects I want to talk about is we've got a big cottage. It's Yorkshire stone and it's from a place called Micklethwaite. And as you can see, from left to right, it's a great roof space. We've got this chimney over here on the right, but we've got this big tree right in the centre of it. And this time of year, with all the leaves on it, it presents a significant shading issue. So what I'm thinking, Milo, is if on the chimney side, I do 5 panels towards the gable end, then 4 just sitting under the chimney, and then for uniformity, because it's on the top of the hills and it's a very picturesque area, I'm going to match it on the other side. So 5 on the left-hand side, 4 next to that. Now, we're sort of just about avoiding the tree on both sides, but obviously, depending on where the sun is, shading will come right across that roof. So what are your thoughts on Enphase for this application?
So for those that don't know, microinverters, one of the biggest advantages is that each individual panel is its own system. So for example, you can see on my display board here behind me, you've got a microinverter fixed to the mountain rail on the roof. One would go underneath each individual panel, which means each individual panel is its own system. Why that's important for shading is because if that tree is covering any of the individual panels, that individual panel's dropping output doesn't affect any other panel on that circuit. You mentioned that you've got the big trees, you've got the chimney as well. They will both, whether it's winter, summer, spring, autumn, put shading on different panels at different times of the day, which will, on a typical string inverter system, reduce your output. On a microinverter system, each individual panel has its own microinverter, making its own system in one. Any shading from the trees and the chimney that affect 1 or 2 panels won't affect the rest of the system. So you end up generating a lot more energy than you typically would for a string inverter system.
So fair to say that Maximise is the right terminology for this package moving forward.
Yeah, and to be honest, not just this example, but for any roof, if you want to really maximize the generation, then you go for Enphase microinverters. String inverter will typically have a startup voltage of around 100 to 150 volts. On microinverters, depending on the microinverter we're talking about, but let's say 22 volts, that means that it's starting up very early in the morning and ending later when a string inverter hasn't even woken up because it hasn't reached 150 volts. Our microinverters are already started working. So it's a common misconception actually that if you don't have any shading and your roof's completely due south, you don't need microinverters. Well, you do if you want to maximize your generation.
And on top of that, the customer will also benefit from a 25-year warranty. So that means it's almost a fit and forget product because the panels that we're recommending, they have a 25-year performance warranty. There will be a degree of degradation, around about 0.5% per year. So just tell me about the warranty. Is there any factors we need to include within that 25-year warranty? How do we approach that with our customers?
Indeed. So that's a standard 25-year warranty as standard. That's not a marketing gimmick. That's not an extended warranty, which the customer has to pay for. That's a warranty of 25 years as standard. The reason we're able to offer such a long warranty is Enphase is a company that's been around for almost 20 years. We started in 2006. We're already on our 7th generation of microinverters. What that means is we've had 7 generations of learnings to get to where we are now. So they're very much tested before we bring them onto the market. We actually test them up to 1 million hours before releasing any product onto the market. So very, very, very reliable microinverters is what we make. You should also consider that it's completely different technology to a string inverter. A string inverter, you may need to replace every 7 to 12 years just due to having to work really, really hard. A microinverter, you don't. We're the only company, I believe, in the world, or one of the only companies, to publish our reliability rates. And that's because we have a 99.95% reliability rate. So it's a 1 in 2,000 chance you actually have to replace a microinverter. And that's the reason we can offer a 25-year warranty as standard. We've mentioned that each individual panel is its own system and helps with shading. What we haven't even touched upon is that the conversion happens directly at the panel level. So that DC to AC conversion happens underneath each individual panel. So it's only AC coming across the roof and into the customer's property. You get rid of the string inverter completely. So inside the property, the only component you'll have is our gateway, otherwise known as the Envoy, and that's the brain behind the system.
In terms of hardware within the property, this is the only new space we need to find. And I'm looking at about 250 mil by about 150 mil there. We can put that in the loft and we can run the communication back to the CT core, back to the mains. So it's minimal hardware in the property itself. And the peace of mind that the hardware you are putting on the property is on the roof and you don't need to worry about it for at least 25 years. So if you could just summarise, what are the 3 key features, in your opinion, of going with the Enphase microinverter?
The top 3, I would say certainly reliability, 25-year warranty, 99.95% reliability rate. Very unlikely you have to replace a microinverter over the lifetime of the system. Increased production, we've already mentioned earlier startup times, later finish times, and each new panel is its own system, so it doesn't affect the rest of the system production. And lastly, safety. So no DC across the roof and into the property at all, only safe AC. Can I mention a 4th? Space saving. So that's the only thing you've got inside the property. For any customers that are really, really conscious on space, Enphase system is the one, because that's all you need inside the house.
If you found this video helpful, make sure to show your support by giving it a thumbs up and hitting that like button right below. Your likes help us reach more people and spread the word about sustainable energy solutions. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, family and anyone else who might be interested in the amazing possibilities of solar technology. For more exciting content on solar PV and the latest innovations in this field, make sure to subscribe to our channel